Hi, it's Dan, aka Prof Chipboard here, with my match for week 1 of the GPL against ZephyrXc, coach of Rome Braviary. He has a very, very scary team, like one of the best drafts in the league. He has Mew, Salamence, Jolteon, Mega Caesar, Whimsicott, Jellicent, Cradley, Leavanny, Magmortar, Stoutland, and Hippowdon. Obviously he's got he's got a Firewall Grass Corvair, he's got a Steel Dragon Fairy Corvair, which are quite sort of scary overall. Now, in terms of big threats, the biggest one by a distance is his Jolteon. I do not have any mon which outspeeds it, and I do not have a ground type which can actually take a hidden power from it, because he's not going to be choiced, because then he's just trap fodder for Dugtrio. And because of that, because he's not going to be choiced, I don't think it's worth bringing. And it doesn't. The only other thing really on his team it beats is Whimsicott, because it gets access to Sludge Wave. So because of that, I'm not bringing it. Salamence is a big threat. He's probably going to. I imagine he's either going to bring a Dragon Dance Sweeper set or a mix set. It does well against a lot of my team. He's got some really good walls with reliable recovery, Jellicent, Mew, Cradley, and Hippowdon. They're all very good bulky walls. Mega Scizor as well. Obviously, Salamence is reliable recovery, so he gets a lot of recovery. Some very good offense there, and stuff I don't particularly expect to come. I don't expect Mega Scizor to come, because I have my Mega Zapdos. Basically half my team beats it, and it's quite easy to prep for. Salamence is definitely coming, Mew is definitely coming, Jolteon is definitely coming. Apart from that, I don't really know what to expect. Probably a combination of Jellicent, Hippowdon, and Cradley was my thought process going into it. The match has actually happened 2 weeks ago, but that's more or less what I expected to come. Now, first off, you look at my team, it is Emboar, Taunty, Aggron, Mesprit, Zapdos, and Gudra. You may notice there, Manaphy is not coming. He has 2 walls with Water Absorb, and Jolteon, which just comes in and revenges it. I think Life Orb, Jolteon does like 90% with Life Orb. I've just said Life Orb, Jolteon, smooth. But basically, he has stuff which can revenge it. He has Water Absorbers, so he can switch in potentially quite safely. So I'm not going to bring it. Now let's get into my prep. I have Emboar here. It's Life Orb Reckless with Flare Bullets, Wild Charge, HP Ice, and Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch gives me priority. Flare Bullets just is an absolute nuke, and nothing really wants to take that. It does like 40% to a max Fizz Death. Jellicent. Wild Charge is for that Jellicent. HP Ice is for Hippo, Cradley, potentially the Salamence. The reason I brought it over Grass Knot for Hippo and Jellicent is because I can already pack coverage for Jellicent, and he might expect a Grass Knot switch in his Salamence into a HP Ice, which will kill it basically. Reason why I've got this spread, max attack is obvious, just so I do damage. That speed investment is enough so I outspeed his Jolteon under Tailwind, because that's one of my best ways of dealing with it, because I can't stop it from Volt switching all over my team. If he brings Life Orb, which I hope he does, Sucker Punch, he should get worn down quickly enough to be in Sucker Punch range. If he brings lefties, he's a bit harder to deal with, but then I've got a better chance of tanking an attack. So, swings and roundabouts really. Basically Emboar, it gets revenged by a few bits, but under a Tailwind it can run through half his team very easily. So it's kind of a late game sweeper. Might force the odd switch, but I probably won't be bringing it in too early. Phantom Limb, it's my Taunt Eye. it's running mix this week. Speed is so I outspeed Salamence and his Mew and his other base hundreds. Whimsicott and Jolteon outspeed me, so there's no point trying to outpace them. Knockoff is for Mew, and generally knockoff is good. Hurricane is just to hit hard, neutrally, hits with Caesar. Grass Knot is for Jellicent, and for Hippowdon it does about 80%, it does 80-90% to a Hippowdon. If he's running Max Fizz Def, it can OHKO. I don't see him running Max Fizz Def Hippowdon, but it will do a lot of damage on it. So if he switches into a knockoff, a hit Grass Knot should be able to take it out. Again, a lot of grass coverage on my team this week. He doesn't have particularly good answers to it, except the Sizzle, which, again, I'm pretty certain is not coming, but I have stuff to deal with it if it does. But yeah, Tailwind is there because it means late game I can sack it off, get up a Tailwind against the Jolteon, and bring in Henchman 21 to sweep. Nicknames are from the Venture Bros, by the way, in case anyone was wondering. Here we have Samson, my Mega Aggron. It's got Avalanche to hit the Salamence and Whimsicott. It's got Fire Punch to hit the Scizor in case it's coming. It's got Earthquake to hit basically everything else neutrally, and OHKO the Jolteon. I'm running Max Def this week because it just means I can take on the Jolteon, which I may well have overprepped for slightly, but that's just how afraid of it I am. Yeah, he's only got the one non-grounded thing in Salamence, and that doesn't, like, yeah, Spidef also means that I take on Fire Blast Salamence that much better, and I think it means it's not a 2-hit KO from a sensible variant from non-specs. Avalanche is obviously kills ills. Toxic is there to wear down the Mew. Basically his walls, because he's outside of Mew. I don't think he has Heal Bell, and that really helps me sort of wear down his team to the point where something can sweep, such as Phantom Limb or Henchman. Next we have Dr. Orpheus Mesprit. It's Spadef, just so it can take a hit from, again, that Jolteon. It's just here as utility. It's got rocks because rocks. Healing Wish is because Henchman 21 takes a lot of damage when it comes in. I don't really want a Toxic on my Zapdos equally, and again a Burn from the Jellicent on my. I might have to trade Burn for Toxic on Jellicent with my Mega Aggron, just because I don't want to. Because I just to wear it down. So Healing Wish is so that I can bring it back out at full, and if I've removed its checks at that point, it will just come in. Yeah, Healing Wish is Healing Wish. U-turn is there so that just for U-turn. Yeah, otherwise the EVs are just to maximise bulk, and I mean I can get up rocks, hopefully only for once, and yeah, just be a general nuisance. And if I need something to sack off and take a hit, then that's it basically. Next we have the Monarch, my Zapdos. T-Bolt does T-Bolt and Heatwave. I think gets pretty good coverage. There's one thing which I really struggle with is the Hippowdon. Basically, I was considering trying to pack Toxic or HP Grass, but I have other stuff there's not really space on it with the moveset, because I need to bring Defog this week. It's basically my only other Hazard Control this week is Claydol, and it's kind of trash. And he does, like, particularly with it's there for Hazard Control. It beats the Jellicent one-on-one. Heatwave does the reasonable amount to the Jolteon. It can take a hit from a Jolteon. It can take a hit on the physical side from almost anything. Heatwave, it's basically there because this thing 1v1s any variant of Mega Caesar you want to bring, like, all day, and even with rocks up, even at like sort of 50-60% health, it can still come in on a bullet punch and outspeed men, or depends on the build. But yeah, it's a very, very reliable way of dealing with that. And I think also the def investment I have means I can take two, like any 2 hits from a Specs Jolteon as well. Finally, we have Wide Whale, which it's a weird set. Trying to justify these EVs. Basically, it's max defense with a sassy nature, because that means it works as a special wall, because it's just got such high defense anyway. And 4 in special attack. 4 in special attack was just left over. It has Draco, Meteor, Earthquake, Curse and Power Whip. Curse and Earthquake and Power Whip just because it gets very, very good coverage on his team. I considered running. I'm running Curse. I considered just because it potentially means it beats Hippowdon. I was considering running Fire Blast, but again, I don't think the Sizzle's coming, and Curse is potentially another win con for me. Now the obvious thing here is this is my best way of walling Jolteon. Like all out Earthquake kills it, and it can take any hit really, really easily. Particularly because I'm not bringing a ground type this week. I know I'm going to get Volt switched on by. I know this is going to get Volt switched on, and he's going to go out into Salamence, because Salamence destroys this thing for breakfast until you see the Habanberry, which means the defense investment, which means I'll live even like a +1 outrage and then kill it back. I kind of wanted to go out and bait that, which is why I was leading with that. That was my designated lead, because in case Hippowdon was rocks, because then Grass Knot 2-hit KOs. If he leads with Jolteon, then he's going to Volt Switch turn 1 as I switch this in and go out into his Salamence. And here is the actual game. I'm closest to, and as we see, I lead Tornadus. He leads Jolteon, obviously seeing I have no ground type and therefore no immunity, so he can very, very freely Volt Switch. He outspeeds my entire team. He can just Volt Switch on something, get some damage off, and get up into a favourable matchup, as we are about to see. And also here reveals Life Orb, which is great because it means he's taking residual damage, and it means he's going to be that much easier to deal with. And he gets baited straight into the Dragon Claw and takes him out. Now the reason why I didn't want to have this, the reason why I didn't lead with Goodra, expecting him to Volt Switch out and thing. He's not going to switch it. He's not going to switch that in. He's not going to switch Salamence in because he doesn't want to take a move, an attack from Goodra. The reason why I led with my Torn Eye is because it baits for Volt Switch, and I mean it deals with Hippo, which is realistically his other potential lead. And I didn't want to have to. Another reason why I ran Habanberry is because he might Fire Blast or Earthquake expecting my regular Unmega Aggron to come in, and that, like, Goodra will take those quite easily and kill it back. So I think the Habanberry was just there to really deal with a big offensive threat on his team, as it did very nicely. Magmortar comes out. I want to save this. I wasn't really sure what I was expecting. Potentially essentially a Dragon Pulse. I don't know. I HP. I can't remember what I was predicting, but I go out into my just bulky Zapdos, which isn't the most useful mon on my team anymore, and he reveals that he's mixed Life Orb, which is like absolute heat. Goes out into thing, Heat Wave. I Heat Wave predicting either that or Jolteon. Gets a tiny bit of damage off. I predict him to go for rocks here. Yeah, and go out into my own to get up my own rocks. Or no, I go Toxic here, just because I wanted to Toxic something. A Toxic Mew, which is, it means I get Toxic myself, but that's great because it means that is being worn down. And here I get up my rocks. basically it means if he defaults his rock, he doesn't really want to default because it means his rocks would go as well. And here I just U-turn out because I don't really want anything to take thing, and he might predict something else to come in. Here he's in range of knockoff from Tornadus unless he's because we know he's not Colber, and he switches in to Hippowdon, which is great. Here I just click Grass Knot. I don't want to risk anything else, and it takes him out, right, which is great. Two things down for him already. Here I save this because I still might need the Tailwind and go into my Gudra as death fodder. And that also, Jolteon being at 68% means it's now in Sucker Punch range. Goes out into Mew. I just Draco here to prevent him from trying to gain up in health. Doesn't do a huge amount, which tells me he's quite bulk. He's got a decent amount of special bulk. And I just carry on clicking Draco. It's Sandstorm and Toxic are going to put him in a range where he's not at a good HP. And in comes the I made the double there. I was doing like less than no damage. Saved it as death fodder. I basically thought the Jellicent was probably the likely thing to come in because he wasn't going to stay in and carry on taking toxic damage because he wasn't recovering much. So I double out the Zapdos there. I Roost, and he makes a very good play, predicting me to Roost or Heat Wave and Will-O-Wisps. Here I double out because I don't want to take the Hex, and White Whale gets sacked off. He goes out into Jolteon, which is nice because I can then go into this. He makes another very good play, doubles out because they expect him a Sucker Punch, and here I kind of expect him to go out into a Jolteon, potentially expecting me to Wild Charge. I don't want him to regain 25% of his health. Equally, if he's max defense Jellicent, I don't KO him from this range with Wild Charge, so I need to get a little bit more damage off him, so I go out into Mesprit in the hopes of toxicking it next turn. He doubles out, expecting Wild Charge, good play on his end, and he kills. I think it's fairly. I think I was close to living that, but I'm not sure how close. Either way, it was basically he might have a bit of death order. Here, Samson, and he doesn't have any Earthquake immunity anymore, and I just click Earthquake. There we go. Because here I Toxic. The reason why I Toxic was because Jolteon was in range of EQ anyway, basically regardless if I'm Willowed, and I just needed to make sure that this was not going to be at a high health, so that my Emborg could take it out. And here I Toxic. Slightly surprised he goes for the Hex. I think he's predicting the Zapdos to come back in, but here all I have to do is stay in EQ, make sure everything is low, and my win cons will basically win. If he takes me out here, I revenge it with Taunt Eye and then get up a Tailwind and win. Here goes out into this. I just repeatedly click Earthquake. It's the safest play. I don't lose anything from it. And here he sacks off his Mew to T-Wave me. Means the Jellicent can come back out and trying to take advantage of a Para. Doesn't work for him, and he just takes him out with the Hex. I've got Mega Aggron here. I come out, and it's basically game with Henchman because everything is in a range where I can be killed. He's in Flarebit's range, so I'd have to risk him switching out into anything. Here, I know he's faster than me. I've not got much speed. I assume because he's Life Orb, he's offensive, and therefore it's max speed. Also, he was here. The fact that he's a minus defense nature comes into play. This means that Sucker Punch KOs, whereas otherwise it would leave him on about 3%, and he would Psychic and take himself out with his life orb. This only matters in terms of differential because he's only got, I think, 2 life orb hits with the Jolteon, and I can Tailwind up next turn and then Roost on the last turn with Zapdos to ensure game, because he's probably not Rest life orb. So yeah, Sucker Punch comes out here. I see he was 11%, he only had 2 life orb hits, and that is game. Yeah, I think that's a big result, seeing as he's got such a threatening team, and sort of he played, I think to begin with, after the Habanberry, I think he was just a little bit on tilt and struggled really to get back too much momentum. The mid game I'm not particularly happy with because I could have played a little bit smarter, I think, but I think I preserved my win con, and yeah, it paid off, particularly getting so far ahead, like after in turn 2. Yeah, thanks very much for joining me, and I'll see you hopefully at my next battle.